It's going to turn into your descending aorta, which is right here, which all your other arteries are going to come off of. The first one that we'll look at, we'll start down here with the phrenic artery, which goes to the diaphragm. So if you follow the dorsal aorta down, it'll be the first one coming off. And if you notice, it goes directly into the diaphragm. So you can either follow your descending aorta down or pick an organ and find the artery in it and trace that back to the descending aorta. That might be easier than trying to follow it off of the aorta. So that's your phrenic. And you see phrenic, the adrenal artery is also going to come off at the same location. So it's kind of hard to see right here, but there's a second one coming off, and you want to follow that or just find the adrenal gland, which is right above the kidney. So the artery going into the top, just above the kidney, that'll be your adrenal artery, right there. Next, you want to find the celiac artery, which will be this nice big one coming off of the descending aorta. You know it's that one because 3 arteries are going to branch off of that. One to the spleen, one to the stomach, and one to the liver. So the stomach's the easiest one to find. It just goes right in the stomach. The splenic artery is also fairly easy. That one's going to be best. Okay, so where these 3 break off, it's kind of hard to tell which one's going where. So for these ones, I suggest finding the organ and following them back. So here's your splenic artery. And the hepatic artery. Okay, so splenic artery, gastric artery goes to the stomach, and the hepatic artery to the liver. We're going to go right here at the base of the liver. This is where it'll be pinned if it's on the practical. Just any of these arteries associated with the liver.
Do we label it as the hepatic duct or the hepatic artery?
Well, there's hepatic arteries and hepatic ducts.
Oh, okay.
So if we want hepatic duct, it'll be in the triple injected one.
Okay, if it's not.
And it'll be yellow.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, hepatic ducts and hepatic arteries are going to run right with each other. Yeah, just right next to each other. So, continuing down the descending aorta, the renal artery, you're going to see one come off on both sides. One of them's going to be a little bit higher than the other one. So, for this one, it's also easier to start at the kidney. Just follow it back. So there's your renal artery right there. And if you notice, about equal with this renal artery is this artery right here. But if you follow it, it's going into the intestines and all the mesentery in there. So that one's going to be your cranial mesenteric artery. Renal, cranial mesenteric, you see they're about on the same level. And renal, your other renal will be above it. So here's that cranial mesenteric one right here. And the other renal artery traces back to right there. Just a little bit above it. Okay. So continuing down the descending aorta, next will be our testicular or ovarian arteries. Those are fairly clear right here. They're gonna turn into the pampiniform plexus right here, right before they get to the testicles. So there's that one, and next will be the circumflex iliac, which is a little bit staggered in this rat. It'll be different in all of them, but they may be closer together, a little bit further apart. That's just going to be, so you have your renal artery, your testicular artery. The next 2 coming off and going fairly horizontal will be the circumflex iliac artery. And then the last, lowest, most posterior one that you need to know is the common iliac, which makes this nice V. Now, the median sacral artery, you have to look underneath the connection of that V, and it's running dorsal. Looks like it goes just straight into the spine. So So there's those. Up here, things get a little bit more complex. So if you start from left and go right, your first artery is the subclavian. It's right there. Next you have your left common carotid artery. That'd be this one. And the right side's a little bit different. First, we're going to see the brachiocephalic trunk, which is only to right here where they split. The one on the right will be the right common carotid artery. And then you have your second split, which is going to go that way. So the base of that is called the subclavian artery. That's going to run from right here, right after the brachiocephalic artery, brachiocephalic trunk, to, so you can follow that all the way to the body wall. So it's going to come all the way to right here. So that's all subclavian. Coming off of the subclavian, we have three different arteries. The internal thoracic and the costocervical arteries are going to be the first ones. So this one is the internal thoracic. If you notice, it goes into the body wall at a certain point. The costocervical artery is going to go in the dorsal direction. So you want to look just underneath your internal thoracic. So this one will be right here. So coming down, costocervical, and across into the body wall is the internal thoracic. Also coming off of the subclavian is the vertebral artery. So if you follow the subclavian up, you'll find one going anterior-dorsally. That'll be your vertebral artery. It's right there. Continuing up the subclavian, you're going to get a second split, or more, one. Okay, so second split. The superficial cervical artery is the nice easy one to ID. Okay, well there's three of them there. You're responsible for two of them, and those will be the two on the left side. So the superficial cervical artery is the more anterior one, and the auxiliary artery branches off to the left and goes into the body wall. Now you'll have to do some digging around and split it up to see that the brachial artery and the lateral thoracic artery come off of that. The brachial artery comes up to, this was the, okay, let me trace this back one more time. So you have your aortic arch, brachiocephalic trunk, right there. Subclavian is going to come all the way up to our next split, so right here. Okay, yeah, so there's the three. So this one is the superficial cervical artery. This one is the auxiliary. If you follow that a little bit further, you'll see that one of them breaks off and heads towards the arm. That's your brachial artery. And your lateral thoracic artery goes more lateral. So there's your veins and arteries. You're also responsible for the pulmonary veins and the pulmonary arteries. So those are associated with the lungs. Remember, these are the reverse stained ones. So the red ones, the nice red ones coming out of there, are going to be your pulmonary veins.